Must feel like such a long road for you to get to this point. Are you excited now? You're here at Comic-Con and it's coming out soon?
Yeah, excited because this is 10 years ago was when we showed the first, glimpse of it. And so to be back with this new one, it's fantastic.
So imagine it's 2014, you're sitting in the cinema for the opening night of Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, and you're thinking, damn, I can't wait to see this movie. Right? Because when you saw the original Sin City back in 2005, you were going, I've never seen anything like this before. This is amazing. But now it's 2014 and something feels off. The buzz is nearly silent, the auditorium is half empty, and you're thinking, there's no way this movie is gonna bomb, right? There's no way. Except it does. By Monday morning, the numbers are in and they're ugly. Sin City, A Dame to Kill For utterly bombs, scraping up only $6.5 million in its opening weekend. And against a budget of $65 million, it only manages to make about $40 million worldwide. Now, considering the budget for this movie was $25 million more than the first Sin City film, this film should have been a success. So, how did we get here? How did a sequel to the beloved Sin City bomb, ending up dead on arrival? And that's what we're gonna be talking about today. Now let's rewind back to 2005. Before making this movie, Robert Rodriguez approaches Frank Miller like, "Hey Frank, I really like your Sin City graphic novel and I want to make a movie that is very accurate to the comics, right? Every piece of dialogue is gonna come straight from the comics and there will be no improvisation. It's literally going to be your body of work on screen." So Frank goes, "Yeah, that sounds great, let's do this." The result? A groundbreaking neo-noir style, high contrast black and white cinematography with splashes of color that looked unlike anything else at the time. It was like a comic book come to life. The critics were commending the film for its audacious design and the smart narrative weaving of 3 parallel storylines. Audiences were blown away by the visuals, and on a budget of only $40 million, it earned about $158 million worldwide. Not only that, the ending of Sin City felt satisfying and self-contained, like it wasn't trying to set up a sequel, but it also left fans going, we really want to see more of this. Please make more movies like this. So, almost immediately, talk of a sequel was in the air. So, Robert Rodriguez and Frank Miller got together and they were going, why don't we make A Dame to Kill For the centerpiece for the second movie? So just like that, the plan was set. Sin City 2 would adapt A Dame to Kill For and introduce some new stories as well. With this news breaking out, the fans were excited. Hollywood was going, I smell more money. And Frank Miller and Robert were ready. So what the heck took 9 years? What the hell? So fast forward to 2014, and it's been 9 long years since the first film. And in movie franchise terms, that's an eternity. That's forever. Whenever a sequel does well, studios usually go, we need to put something out right now to capitalize on this momentum. Studios usually like to strike while the iron is hot. But in this case, the iron went ice cold. So, why the massive delay? Why not give the studios and the audience what they want? Well, according to Rodriguez, it wasn't for lack of trying. This is what he said. We needed all the elements to be correct. It took a while to get the financing right, to get the stories right, and for this cast to happen. He insisted that some movies just have their own time clock, and they made Sin City 2 when the time was right, and he was even quoted as saying, "This really is the perfect time." Spoiler alert, it wasn't. In fact, Eric Lomas, the head of distribution for the Weinstein Company, was going, we messed up big time by delaying the production of this movie. We really messed up. Because after 9 years of waiting, a whole new generation of moviegoers had emerged, and the old fans had largely moved on. It's a classic lesson in timing. If you wait too long, your audience is gonna go, are they really making a sequel to a movie that came out when I was in high school? Right? The audience's excitement turned to indifference.
And why did it take 9 years to return to Sin City?
We just thought it'd be more dramatic to come back 10 years later here to Comic-Con.
Come on, the lawyers, the studios, the financiers. Come on, they all slow things down.
Yeah, it slows it down. The details slowed it. But, this was the right time to do it. Now, when we look at the cast we got, we wouldn't have had that cast 2 years ago. This is the right people, the right timing, the right stories. Everything kind of finds its time. We always believed it would happen. It would happen at its own time, and it would be the right time whenever that was. And it happens to be now.
Now, there's more to this. One of the big reasons why Sin City took off was the novelty. In 2005, that highly stylized comic book noir look was revolutionary. But by 2014, what was once cutting edge had become almost commonplace, right? Think about Zack Snyder's hyper-violent, sepia-toned 300. And that was another Frank Miller creation. Think about Watchmen, which came out in 2009, and even 300 Rise of an Empire. Meanwhile, big blockbuster movies like Avatar and Gravity were setting new benchmarks for dazzling digital environments. So by the time A Dame to Kill For came out, the audience was going, wait, we've already seen this time and time again. How many more of these movies are they going to make? Like, really? You could say that Sin City began a trend, and then other studios were going, hey, why don't we just copy what they're doing? I mean, look, they're not even building whole sets. The whole thing is green screen, which means we can do that and save money. So by the time Sin City: A Dame to Kill For came out, the once iconic black and white with a splash of red visual palette was severely outdated. The lesson here for cinematography and directing is that innovation has a shelf life, right? Because once other people see what you're doing, they're going to copy it. And if you wait too long to reprise a unique style, by the time you bring that style back, it's no longer unique. Now, Rodriguez did try to up the ante. Sin City 2 was even released in 3D, but by the mid-2010s, people were going, okay, we're tired of this 3D thing. It's a gimmick, and it's played out. As a result, Sin City almost came off as a pale copy of its predecessor, and that's a shame because Sin City had a lot going for it. Now there's more to this. If we think about the story, the first Sin City benefited from a very tight storytelling technique and precisely separated mini-stories. Right? We had Marv's story, Hotigan's story, etc. And these stories were very non-linear, but very easy to follow, and each segment had a very satisfying arc. But Sin City 2, oh my gosh, it had audiences going, what the hell is going on here? Now here's the issue. Parts of A Dame to Kill For are actually a prequel to the events of the first film, while other parts of the movie are a sequel. But the movie doesn't tell you this, right? For example, Marv is alive and kicking in Sin City 2, which is very startling if you consider that, spoiler alert, Marv died in the original film. So the casual viewer is left thinking, oh, wait, didn't Marv die? Why is he here? Meanwhile, another plot thread in Sin City 2 is a straight sequel. Jessica Alba's character Nancy, now broken and vengeful after John's death in the first film, is now plotting revenge. So in one movie we're juggling a prequel story and a sequel story with overlapping characters. And this is done without clear signals as to the timeline. And the result is a script that feels muddled and confusing. I mean, I was going, how can you expect your audience who saw the first film like a decade ago to follow this convoluted narrative structure? You risk losing your audience. I mean, what they should have done is said, look, we can't expect people to remember the events of Sin City 1, which came out 9 years ago. So why don't we make a movie that the average viewer can watch and understand in one sitting? But nope. Sin City 2 attempted to be several movies in one and consequently didn't feel like any single coherent movie. So on opening weekend, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For was officially branded as a flop. The people who went to see the movie were going, okay, we really liked Sin City 1, but this movie feels like crap. And thanks to the negative word of mouth, not that many people went to see this movie, and after a very weak $6 million debut, Sin City 2 was dead on its feet. It then dropped about 65% in its second week and swiftly tumbled out of theaters after that. Now for Rodriguez, this was one of the biggest flops of his career. Between Sin City 2005 and Sin City 2, he dropped several sequels that failed to click. Machete Kills, Spy Kids 4, In fact, Rodriguez had not had a movie hit over $40 million domestically since the original Sin City. So when Sin City 2 came out, he was going, damn, I failed again. Meanwhile, Frank Miller returned to his first love, comics, and has not directed a film since. And any talk of a Sin City 3 has evaporated. So when all is said and done, Sin City: A Dame to Kill For stands as a case study in how not to do a sequel. It's the perfect storm of what can go wrong, waiting too long, failing to evolve the concept, muddling the story, and selling it without a clear hook. It feels like Sin City 2 was made because the studios were going, well, the first movie made a lot of money, so why don't we capitalize on that? Whereas the first movie was made because of genuine excitement and passion. In the end, the story of Sin City 2 is like an old friend arriving at the party way too late and going, hey guys, I'm here, but everybody has moved on. Anyway, that's it for the video. What did you guys think of Sin City 2? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know down below, and I'll see you in the next one.